Thank you viewers for watching CannaWk News, bringing the top news in the cannabis industry. I'm your host, Arnel Newton, and in today's episode, the stories I'll be covering are Weedmaps' huge layoff, also Delaware revised medical marijuana laws, and last but not least, Chicago's 41.5% marijuana sale tax. So stay tuned, we got a great show lined up for you today. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right below.
Young rapping dude, might just trap with you. Coming with the thunder, baby, might just clap it crew.
Our first story we get into is Weedmaps' huge layoff. Weedmap, the popular online marketplace connecting marijuana shoppers with weed dispensaries and delivery service, had laid off nearly 100 employees. Weedmap exec placed some of the blames on their own overestimating of the speed at which more states will legalize marijuana laws. The biggest hit for the company has been the slow separation with the black market pop shops that sells and advertise on their platform. Weedmap came online in 2008, 8 years before California Pro 16 had passed, where many marijuana products were conducted outside the medical field at the time, which allowed unlicensed sellers to use the platform for their products. In 2018, the California Bureau of Cannabis Control sent Weedmaps a cease and desist letter, stating that the company was violating the state laws for selling and advertising to illicit pot shops. In July of 2019, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a new law creating penalties as much as $30,000 per day for continuing to allow black market vendors to continue to operate. The loss of revenue when those illicit shops were kicked off significantly hit Weedmaps' bottom line, and that's why they did the huge layoff. And that would do it for Weedmaps' huge layoff. Our next story to be getting into is Delaware revised medical marijuana laws. Delaware Republican Michael Smith sponsored a bill that allowed patients to grow up to 6 mature plants and 6 immature plants. Also, caregivers could cultivate marijuana for no more than 3 qualified patients at a time. Homegrown operation would be subject to tracking and monitoring and would have to comply with specific conditions, like growing plants in an enclosed locked facility with an electrical system that meets states and local codes. The bill also allows landlords, homeowner associations, and common interest communities to prohibit cultivation of marijuana. In 2019, state officials issued over 12,000 medical marijuana cards, almost double what they did the previous year. Members of the House Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee voted to release the bill aimed to ensure that persons are not prohibited under the state laws from possessing or buying firearms simply because he or she is using medical marijuana. Chief Sponsor Senator Anthony Del Colo said his bill would offer protection against prosecution for any existing gun owner who used medical marijuana, and medical marijuana users who might want to inherit a gun from a family member. And that would do it for Delaware revised medical marijuana laws. Our last but not least story that we'll be getting to is Chicago 41.5% marijuana sale tax. Chicago recreational marijuana licensed retail will be taxed upward of 40% following a rule from the Cook County Board of Commissioners. The Commission 13-0 vote enacted a 3% cannabis retail occupation tax on the gross receipts of recreational marijuana sold within Cook County starting July 1st. Recreational marijuana products sold are subject to the city combined sale tax of 10.25%, and now the Chicago City Council has just approved an additional 3% city tax. Illinois separately taxes recreational marijuana on a 3-tier system depending on the product and potency. Cannabis-infused products, including edibles, are taxed by the state at a 20%, while other goods are taxed at either 10 or 25%, depending on the concentration of the THC. Starting this summer, most of the potency recreational marijuana products available for sale in the Windy City will be subject to several taxes, totaling it to 41.5%. State officials announced that the licensed marijuana dispensary already completed more than 271,000 transactions, totaling it to over $10.8 million in sales during the first 5 days of recreational use. And that will do for Chicago 41.5% marijuana sale tax. So that will be our show for today. I hope you enjoyed the CannaWk News. I am your host, Arnel Newton. Until next time.
Young rapping dude, might just trap with you. Coming with the thunder, baby, might just clap it.